Part 2. What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic. And today we're going to talk some football. We're going to talk about the 2022 NFL Draft. Hey, picks 11 through picks 20. Hey, we're going to finish up the mock draft. We got picks 11, picks 20. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. But before we do that, hey, if y'all really fooling with the channel, if y'all really like what's going on the channel, make sure that y'all are subscribing. Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all liking these videos. Make sure y'all commenting on these videos. Make sure y'all sharing these videos on all social media platforms. Hey, follow me on social media as well. The links in the description below. Make sure you hit the links. We're giving away 30 days free of Amazon Prime. You've signed up to Amazon Prime, you get 30 days free. Follow me on social media. Share this video and other videos on social media. Make sure y'all liking, y'all sharing, y'all subscribing. Make sure y'all subscribe, especially if you're fooling with the channel. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Click that bell. Do all those things right there. Let's get this channel up there. Now, let's talk about, like I say, the 2022 NFL mock draft. We got picks 11 through picks 20. And how we're going to start this thing off? We're going to start off with pick 11, which belongs to the Washington Commanders. And the Washington Commanders, they take Tyler Linderbaum, offensive lineman, Iowa. Main reason why is because they just traded for Carson Wentz. They paying Carson Wentz. One of Carson Wentz's biggest thing when he was in Philadelphia and also somewhere in Indianapolis is his health concern. He didn't stay healthy. He did show to stay healthy in Philly, and we know he stayed pretty much for the most part stay healthy in Indianapolis. He only played 1 year. He played the full season. I know he had some concerns coming into the season, but he still ended up playing the full season. And we already know what his situation was in Indianapolis. In Philadelphia. The Washington Commanders, they need to protect him. And they basically, Tyler Linderbaum might be the best offensive lineman in this draft, if you want to be honest. I mean, he's a center, so that's the reason why he don't go as high. That's the reason why you take the Evan Neals and the Ickeys above him. But pound for pound, he might be the best offensive lineman in this draft and might be somebody who you see 10 to 15 years away. Hey, man, that was a steal of the draft because he was a dominant offensive lineman, but he's a center. That's the reason why he fell out of the top 10. So I think that's what I think the Washington Commanders are going to do, and I think it'll be a great pickup for them going forward. Now, with the 12th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings take Trayvon Walker, defensive tackle out of Georgia. Kind of the same thing with the offensive line. You win the game through the trenches, and Walker has driven up and went up and crawled up after the combine on boards. He just shot up the boards, and you want to do things. You want to win the trenches, offensive line, defensive line. So I think the Minnesota Vikings go on the defensive line and they insert Walker and bring him in to help that defense with Minnesota so they can get back into the playoffs. We know what they can do offensively, even though if you might not be sold on Kirk Cousins, they got Jet, they got Thielen, they got Cooks, Dalvin Cook. They have a lot of weapons, a lot of talent on offense. They need to shore up their defense. They need to play better on defense. That hurt them in some games last year, and that's the reason why they were on the outside looking in instead of being actually in the playoffs. Now, with the 13th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Derek Stingley Jr., cornerback out of LSU. Now, I already know what y'all saying. Spitz, you had the Texans take Kyle Hamilton with the 3rd pick in the draft, and you back there at the 13th pick, you have them take a corner. You have to have them take a safety. It makes no sense. It makes all the sense. Derek Stingley, even though I said that Sauce is the best corner in the draft, from a playmaking standpoint, it might be Derek Stingley Jr. He might be the best player in the draft from an instinct standpoint. Have you letting his instincts being a playmaker type player? He might be. He has all the tools to do that. And when you have him at his best, is why he's roaming, and let him just play off his instincts and let him do what he does instead of just doing man to man zone, whatever. Let him play, let him use this, let him go after the ball, let him attack the ball, let him take chances, let him take risks. And the best way to get him to do that is to pair him up with Kyle Hamilton. Actually, you drafting Kyle Hamilton basically lays the groundwork and the footing, in my opinion, for you to take Derek Stingley Jr. Because now, when you have somebody like a safety like that who can roam around and control and got that back covered no matter what, from a free safety standpoint, he has that back locked down. Ain't nobody getting past it. Derek Stingley can do whatever he want to do. He can take all the chances, all the risks he wants to, because he's going to make up for it. Even if he doesn't cash in, even if he overplays himself or underplays himself and messes up, he has a safety net, and Kyle Hamilton is going to backdoor him and make the play for him or stop the play, stop the bleeding. So I think you'll get the best out of Derek Stingley because you be able to get him at his best, be able to get him to do the things that he wants to do, the things he likes to do, the things that make him a playmaking corner. And I think he would be an absolute playmaker. You pair him up with a Kyle Hamilton. That's the reason why I think that's the direction you go. Like I said, the Texans need to build through the defense. Own what you are. Be a defensive-minded franchise. Help shore up that secondary, especially in this passing type league now. Help shore up that secondary. So go after Derek Stingley Jr. with 13th pick. With the 14th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Jameson Johnson, the second edge rusher out of Florida. Like I kind of just said about the Texans, the Ravens own what you are. I mean, for the last couple of drafts, you've been drafting offensive talent, beginning receivers for Lamar Jackson. Own what you are. You in Pittsburgh are defensive-minded franchises. They just brought in Deshaun Watson to Cleveland. He's going to be running around. You already know Joe Burrow beat y'all twice. Badly. Y'all need to get pressure on both of them. The Bengals have a horrible offensive line. You get pressure. That's why they lost the Super Bowl, because they got pressure up front. You get pressure. You get some edge rushers. Us Texas fans know what happens with Deshaun Watson. Not that Deshaun Watson falls under pressure, but you need to get to him. That's the only way you're going to stop him from making plays is you got to get to him. You got to get him on his back. So I think the Ravens more so need to draft edge rushers because of what they got going on in the division with the Cleveland Browns, with Deshaun Watson, and the team that just went to the Super Bowl, just won the AFC, the Cincinnati Bengals, and Joe Burrow. So I think the Ravens go after an edge rusher with the 14th pick. With the 15th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles draft Andrew Booth Jr., cornerback out of Clemson. I think he's the best tackling corner in the draft. And when you got a division when you're going up against the Dallas Cowboys, they got all the receivers they got over there. Even though they just lost to Mark Cooper, they still got CeeDee Lamb. They just brought back Michael Gallup. The receivers they like in New York, like Galladay. And also what the Washington Commanders could potentially do if Carson Wentz plays to that level that he was playing when he was in Philly, especially when they drafting offensive linemen. You need to get somebody on the back end. You need to get somebody back end. You need to shore up on your defense. You kind of put something in the offense last year by going after and getting Devontae Smith, and you already had Rager the year before. This is what you need to do. You need to go ahead and fix that defense and get somebody on the back and get some corners. Now the Philadelphia Eagles also have the 16th pick, and they take Jordan Davis, defensive tackle out of Georgia. Again, help bolster up that defense. Like I just said, the best way to get Carson Wentz is on his back. That's the reason why the Washington Commanders got to drive out offensive lineman, right? So you counter that. They have a bad offensive. They have a quarterback who's known to get hurt. You put some defensive linemen, put pressure on them. The Giants have a bad offensive line. Get somebody to put pressure on Matt Jones, even though I know it's Matt Jones, but still. I mean, not Matt Jones. I'm sorry, not Matt Jones. Danny Dimes. You get pressure on Danny Dimes. Get pressure on him. I know it's Danny Dimes, but Daniel Jones. Get pressure on him. Also, get pressure on Dak Prescott. You need to get some corners to help cover and also get some pressure on Dak Prescott. So I think they go after the defensive tackle in that situation. Now, with the 17th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, I think the Los Angeles Chargers take Trevor Penning, offensive tackle out of Northern Iowa. Plain and simple. They have a young quarterback. They need to protect him. They do. They have a young quarterback. They need to protect them, especially in that division. We seen what they did in the offseason. They already got Joey Bosa. They went out there and got Khalil Mack. You got weapons on offense. You need to bolster up the offensive line, fix the offensive line, protect your quarterback. You don't want nothing crazy or funky to happen. Protect your quarterback. And it's a good draft for offensive linemen. Teams that need offensive linemen are very happy with this draft because this draft has a lot of offensive linemen. It's a very deep class in offensive linemen. And help protect your young quarterback. Just plain simple. Help protect your young quarterback. With the 18th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Matt Corral, quarterback out of Ole Miss. They lost out to Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. Just plain simple. They lost out to Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. Drew Brees is retired. They don't know what they're going to be next year. Go ahead and get a quarterback. Now, I know they just brought back Jameis Winston. Matt Corral, go ahead and bring in Matt Corral, groom him, and get him ready. I think Matt Corral might be the best quarterback in this draft, to be honest with you. He doesn't have as strong as an arm as a Malik Willis or a Carson Strong. He doesn't have as strong an arm, but he has a very good arm. He's athletic. He's mobile. He's instinctive. He showed that he had playmaking skills. He's a little bit smaller frame. And he kind of just burst onto the scene last year with Ole Miss. But I think he might be the best quarterback in the draft. Like I said, I don't think any of these quarterbacks deserve to be first round draft picks. To be honest with you, I'm not taking any of these quarterbacks in the first round if I had choice with it. But we know what this is. It's a copycat league. It's a league that's be starving from quarterback talent, starving from football talent. So quarterbacks get pushed up all the time. That's how you get a Geno Smith took it early in the second round, and EJ Manuel get took in the first round, and a Christian Ponder, and a Blaine Gabbert, and a Jake Locker. That's how you get these quarterbacks taken in the Blake Bortles. How you get these quarterbacks taken in the first rounds because people are so hyped about the quarterback position. So that's the reason why you end up taking them right there. With the 19th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles to select George Karlaftis, edge rusher out of Purdue. Like I said, you fix that defense. You already got your corner. You got your defensive lineman. Now you get your edge rusher. That way you can go up against Dallas Cowboys. You can go up against Washington Commanders. You can go up against the New York Giants. Even though I think more so with Washington and the Giants, you can dominate more so with them, especially in New York. I mean, especially in New York. But the Eagles were competing for with the Cowboys. They made the playoffs. The Eagles made the playoffs last year. So they need to help bolster up their defense. They need help bolster up defense so they can continue to be in their quarterback, be in the MVP, in the division conversation, and possibly beat the Cowboys and win the division type situation. So they need to help and bolster the defense to stop that firepower over there in Dallas. Now, with the 20th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Jameson Williams, wide receiver, Alabama. The reason why I say they go wide receiver, they lost Juju. You got Claypool. You just brought in what the boy name is, Mitchell Trubisky. I'm not high on Mitchell Trubisky, not at all, not in the slightest. But I think what they'll try to do is put another receiver on the board to help him out, to help make his job a little bit easier. It might work. Also, Pittsburgh is really, like, when it comes to the NFL receiver, Pittsburgh always got good receivers. For a franchise that's a defensive-minded franchise from all the way back from the 70s up until now have been a defensive-minded franchise, even though here and there they might have some spots where their defense wasn't as good and some spots where their offense was spectacular. A lot of that got to do with Ben. This team in the last 15 to 20 years have been producing receivers all over the NFL. When you talk about Emmanuel Sanders, talking about Antonio Brown, Juju, now Claypool, one time Martavis Bryant, Mike Wallace, things like that. They've been producing receivers. I mean, Antoine Randall, Hines Ward. They've been, and those two really weren't just the star type of receivers like these other guys who either led the league in receiving or went on other teams and won Super Bowls, been playmakers on other teams, been playmakers for Pittsburgh. Wallace, really, after Wallace left Pittsburgh, he was non-existent anymore. But we all know what AB is. We all know Emmanuel won a Super Bowl in Denver and things like that. Martavis Bryant, he had off the field issues because he was a talent as well. So they know how to find receivers. So I have no doubt that they'll find another receiver to help be opposite of Claypool. I think they'll target them here in the first round. That's what I think they'll do. I think they'll be surprising and draft a receiver because they know it might be a run of receivers in this late first round. So they might well try to get their first pick of the litter, like try to get a receiver very quickly. So that's what I think is going to end up happening. Like I said, just to recap, 11 through 20. Like I say, the Washington Commanders take Tyler Linderbaum, offensive lineman out of Iowa. Minnesota Vikings take Trayvon Walker, defensive tackle out of Georgia. Houston Texans take Darius Stingley Jr., cornerback out of LSU. Baltimore takes Jameson Williams, the second edge rusher out of Florida State. 15, the Eagles take Andrew Booth Jr., cornerback out of Clemson. 16, the Philadelphia Eagles take Jordan Davis, defensive tackle out of Georgia. 17, the Los Angeles Chargers take Trevor Penton, offensive tackle out of Northern Iowa. Number 18, the New Orleans Saints take Matt Corral, quarterback out of Ole Miss. 19, the Eagles take George Karlaftis, edge rusher out of Purdue. And 20, the Pittsburgh Steelers take Jameson Williams, receiver out of Alabama. That's 11 through 20. You already know what's next. Picks 21 through 32. It might be a surprise or two in there. It might be a surprise or two in the last 12 because it gets a little interesting and a little dicey towards the end of that first draft, towards the end of the first round, because teams are trying to make moves to be franchise and Super Bowl contenders and just to keep their head above water. Like, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't, click that bell, get more videos. I holla.